So, first let's introduce ourselves. So my name is Alan, as you probably know by the channel. I also have
Bernie.
And we're currently in Radolfzell in Germany, which is in the Baden-Württemberg Bundesland. And we're in a program with the CBYX or PPP. Basically, the program is a mix between 75 Germans and 75 US students or persons, and we switch spots, so it's an exchange of culture and language. So we're here for 2 months, and some of us are staying in guest families, or our host families, I'm so used to German. Some of us are in like the WG, which is like, what's the full word?
Something I don't remember, but it's
We'll put it right here
yeah.
and you'll know exactly what we're talking about.
Apartment with some like other students.
And then we have classmates that are from like Russia, from Turkey, from all over the place. So what are your thoughts on Radolfzell, thoughts on German,
Yeah, so I was actually in Germany before. I was in Berlin for 4 months at a study abroad situation. So I was kind of expecting Germany to be that experience once again, but like we're in a very, very small town, and so it's a lot different. Last time I stayed with the host family, kind of assumed my host family situation would also be the same, but this time it's literally I'm just living in someone's house. And at first I was completely alone in this apartment. And so I really wasn't able to kind of work with my language, and also was really, really lonely at first, just because I was like expecting a completely different experience. As time went on and I got more comfortable with myself and my surroundings, like it started to become really enjoyable. And now I also have another roommate from the program. So we're still not speaking as much German as we'd like to, which is kind of the reason why we're doing this. But it is kind of better to have someone around. But Radolfzell is a very, very cute little city.
It's so cute.
And I live really, really close to the language school. Yeah, I live close to the water, and I live like right next to the language school, so it's very, very convenient to live here.
Which is totally different from my perspective, because I live in a whole nother city, so it's Markgolfingen, so you'll see here I'll pop up something that will indicate where I live and where she lives in relation. And so I live in a whole other city, so I have like a 45-minute walk. I think it's around 15-minute bike. And I live with a host mother, and so I also have a foreign exchange student from France. And so like I have more interaction with the German language. For your perspective, you have more of that like urban kind of sense, apartment style, where I'm living in like a reformed or reconstructed farmhouse. See, my English is already not so good. And the dialect here is really strong.
Dialect is very difficult to understand. You go to school, you take all these classes, and you think that you're getting better at German, and then you go to talk to someone, and you're like, I have no idea what they're saying. But luckily it's a little bit to do with the dialect, and not that we don't understand German. But yeah, like the little small towns, it's gonna sound a lot different. When I first got here, my host mom was like talking about her last host, and she was like, I cannot believe that Krista threw this into this garbage and didn't realize that this was recycling, and I had absolutely no idea what she was talking about, because there's 5 trash cans. We were talking yesterday in our class, and the one kid was like, oh, I have 5 garbage cans, and this one was like, I have 4, I have 2. So recycling is very intense, but also something that I don't know how to figure it out.
So like even right there, that's like a huge difference. And that's something too is we're struggling is because we are technically United States junior ambassadors or citizen ambassadors, however you want to put it. But it's so hard to be an ambassador of a country that's so huge, because I myself, I come from Michigan, as you probably already know.
I come from Pennsylvania.
So the differences between the states is already greater than when you come here. When we are to be an ambassador on behalf of like our country. I think 5 people here from Michigan, and even within us 5, like we all do something different with our recycling or how we live our daily lives. So it's so hard to, speak upon an entire country that there's so many differences, like even culturally and like societally.
Yeah. But I think that was that's really what is cool about this program, because the other day we got interviewed by some reporter. The one was a real interview, the other was just kind of saying, Americans in this small city. it was really cool because I feel like that was kind of the first time that we kind of explored what does it mean for each of us to kind of be this ambassador, and how was our experience really actually going, and talking about issues that we don't necessarily talk about when we're just hanging out, because it was like, okay, like what do we think about recycling? What do we think that we can do? What do we think about these laws that we have in our own states? How is that perceived by other people? And I thought that was really cool because we are vastly different. Every person in that room probably had a completely different idea of like what they...
perspective,
Yeah. We are ambassadors of the United States, but we are like ourselves still. So I can have my opinion, I can say what my experience is like and how that has shaped me to like talk about these issues in this way. And I don't have to be like, okay, well the state tells me to say this. Like, so it is still like we are very real and actual people in these places. And I think that is really cool about this experience.
Yeah, there's still such diversity in personal experiences and like demographics and like opinions, and it's even within our group, and then we expand with international students in our classrooms, which gives us even more of an intercultural like competence, like growth. And it's such an intriguing opportunity to be able to have a conversation knowing that like you're here to make a good impression, but also at the same time to just be yourself and learn the language and just be comfortable immersing yourself, immersion.
And that's the thing too, there's different ages, like it's just a very unique experience because like I've taken German classes before, but at the same time I've never had a cultural experience like this, because I'm actually like explaining my culture and understanding completely different cultures than I've ever had like experience with.
I'm learning so much, not only about Germany, but also about like the global like culture, like of how people perceive us and how we perceive them, and then kind of like breaking down those judgments of like why do we see them as like that way and why do they see us as this way, and like actually popping some stereotypes of like not really like that's not how we really are, or that's what you might perceive as a generalization, but really at the end of the day we're not like that as well, like especially the obesity one where they think we're all fat, like it's not. There's all these like stereotypes that they have about the US that we are here to kind of like deconstruct. But at the same time, like I feel like it's nice for us to kind of reflect of like what we come in with judgments of the other countries, and then we're like, wait a second, like that's not how you work with what, and like that stereotypes that we deconstruct with other countries too. Yeah.